Is the A-line working today? RTD's train to the plane. Wait for it. Wait for it. No. It had, quote unquote, operational difficulties this afternoon, delays for 2 hours. It's running normally at this point. But it is time for a deeper examination of just what's going wrong with that train and what RTD knew about the problems and when they knew it. When RTD's chief sat across from me, he said that he knew of no problems in the lead up to the launch of the A-line. Our 9 Wants to Know team found that was not exactly accurate. Chris Vanderveen discovered what RTD knew about the problems before they put you on that train.
So things could have gone better for the A-line.
I am upset with RTD.
We get it. Yes, we've been more than willing to tell you about the problems.
Train just turned off like poof.
But a few months ago, the head of RTD assured us
we really didn't see issues in testing that caused us any concern.
Assured us those problems kind of came out of nowhere.
I would say that there really were no problems during the testing phase.
Now we know. He didn't tell us the entire story. Like the chapters tucked away in these records we got through the state's open records laws. In order to understand what we're about to tell you, you have to understand this. In the 5 weeks leading up to the actual opening of the A-line, Denver Transit Partners put trains on the line to test the system. They kept to the schedules they have now, just with no passengers. The goal, as explained in this contract with Denver Transit Partners, was to get a testing score of 95 or above on 21 consecutive days.
You didn't come anywhere near that.
No.
RTD spokesperson Scott Reed knows, instead of getting to the goal of 21 consecutive days of 95 or above like this, the A-line delivered 6 days. Not 6 consecutive days, but 6 passing days in all. 6, that's it. And still the A-line opened up on time on April 22nd. Reed says he knows what you're thinking, but...
And we knew that going in, that it was going to be almost impossible to hit that.
Impossible, maybe. But the report suggests a number of problems, from a rescue train that broke down trying to rescue an already broken down train, to consistent problems with many of the crossing arms. Problems that to this day require 2 people to monitor every crossing 24 hours a day.
But we're still not to the level that RTD expects, and it's not what our passengers expect.
RTD says the goals were a stretch, and there were no requirements the A-line meet them.
It's kind of, shoot for the stars and you still reach the moon scenario. And so I think that's exactly what we did on this.
But just today, another glitch on the A-line.
I am riding the train to the airport.
Causing more people to wonder.
That's always been a little concern of mine, because every time it slows down, I'm always thinking, oh great, are we going to have to stop? There's something wrong with the train.
Wonder if maybe someone might have seen this coming.
RTD insists that what its general manager told us a few months ago does not conflict with what RTD told us today. RTD also says the testing phase revealed no problems when it came to safety issues. That would have warranted a delay in the opening day. We'll continue to poke around on this and let you know what we find out. 3 Denver police officers are injured and a wanted suspect is dead following their confrontation today. Those officers went to a house near West Bates Avenue and South Bryant Street around noon. They were looking for a person wanted on a number of warrants. That person got out the back window of a house. Police chased and caught up with him, and that's when they say he tried to get at one of the officers' weapons. The officers fired shots. Suspect was killed. All 3 officers are expected to recover from their injuries. Parker police would like your help finding someone. They're not in trouble, quite the opposite. Officers there would like to thank a family that helped first responders at the scene of a bad crash over the weekend. 1 person was killed and 7 people were injured in a pileup near Parker Road and J. Morgan Boulevard Saturday night. And today, Parker police posted on Facebook thanking all of the drivers who pulled over to help. One family in particular helped a commander shut down the road, drove her up to the scene of the crash, and then helped to put out road cones, then driving another officer back out to the roadblock.
For that family to come to our aid to shut down this entire road for an accident that was the largest scale accident that I've worked in 18 years without hesitation, I was in their gratitude. And it just quickly enabled me then to get on scene and figure out exactly what was going on and what was transpiring and to help those in need.
Parker Commander Doreen Joker says the family was headed to Kiowa. That much they know. They're hoping that somebody out in that area might know them. The commander would still like to thank them in person. You've asked us to commit to talking about solutions as often as we talk about problems. Today, Denver Parks and Rec offered another possible solution for the problem of open-air drug dealing on the Cherry Creek Trail. It's a possible solution. Our Steve Steger wondered if it might just sweep the problem under the rug.
Perhaps this bit of graffiti should stick around as a reminder. Drugs are bad, okay? As if this flyer wasn't reminder enough.
They can be cited with a suspension notice for 90 days. They can't return back to that park or to the greenway.
This is part of a new Parks and Rec directive, a 6-month trial phase giving cops the ability to ban people from city parks if they're caught distributing, transferring, selling, sharing, buying, consuming, using, or unlawfully possessing drugs. Basically, if you're caught and ticketed by a cop or a park ranger, they can slap this suspension on you too. And if you break it, you could face a fine close to $1,000 or a year in jail. It's an effective way to clear trails and parks for the non-drug users who want to go without seeing scenes like this every day.
At first I thought, well, maybe this is something, that will at least take it out of the public eye or make things look a little bit cleaner.
Drug addiction experts will also quickly tell you
all it's going to do is push people either further underground where they can't be reached, or to the suburbs, or somewhere else.
So then what's the real solution? They say get these people help, which the city is trying to do.
So we have co-responders with the police that will be issuing these citations. They will actually be offering them assistance for any type of mental or substance abuse.
But how do you do that when they don't want it?
The justice system is a great way to compel people to take that step. So in this case, rather than banishing them from parks or trails or those kinds of public places, send them to treatment.
Perhaps easier said than done. For Next, I'm Steve Steger.
The debate over EpiPens throughout the country continues, and if you missed it, our 9 Wants to Know team had an investigation into the political and media manipulation by the company that jacked up the price for EpiPens. You can see that report from last night on our Facebook page. Today, our investigative reporters found a new layer to the story that's making news nationally. People selling EpiPens on Craigslist in Denver. We found 4 separate ads, actually. One for an EpiPen Junior, 2 for 2 packs of EpiPens, 1 for an expired EpiPen. At least the person who posted about that was honest. The post says, I Googled it, and it says they might be fine. Donald Trump will be giving a major speech on his immigration plan, where he is expected to moderate some of his early hardline proposals. Yet Trump's point person for Hispanic outreach in Colorado, business leader Jerry Natividad, issued a statement today saying Trump's message has never wavered or softened. That's going to make some people want to shout, throw their hands up and shout, throw their head back and shout. I want you to know, Trump originally proposed deporting all 11 million people in this country illegally. A little bit softer now. His campaign now says no deportation force. Trump originally said he would end birthright citizenship. A little bit softer now. His campaign now says that's a discussion for a different day. Trump said no path to citizenship. A little bit softer now. He actually said, quote, there certainly could be a softening. Now, wait a minute. Let's get to the bottom of this with Trump's Colorado Hispanic Coalition co-chair, Jerry Natividad. Jerry, thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Kyle.
It seems a little bit softer now.
He's not softening. Basically, it's a reflection of who the true Donald Trump really is he understands that there are problems with this country, and we're going to talk about building a wall. The truth of the matter is that that's a very porous border, and here's what's going on. There are bad people crossing that border, Kyle. We know that.
Is the wall a symbol or is it a solution?
Well, I think the wall is actually, it not only is a symbol, but it's got to be a part of a process that basically stops the infiltration of illegals and illegals carrying drugs. This is an individual that is absolutely serious about stepping into a role to help create some greatness in this country. And part of that greatness is not just speaking words that people want to hear. Sometimes you have to be blunt and saying the things that are said, and that's what he's doing.
Coming up, my conversation with one of Hillary Clinton's most prominent Latina supporters in Colorado. I'll ask State House Majority Leader Crisanta Duran if the focus on Trump's immigration rhetoric is obscuring the fact that Clinton really isn't talking about border security at all. And Duran says this.
The immigrants who live in our country are Americans for all intents and purposes.
So we discuss, does she, as one of Colorado's most powerful Democrats, see herself as a representative of the legal citizens of her district, or all of those living there, even those in this country illegally? And if you enjoy a tough hike, we'll see what you think of the proposed price hike for a lot of people who climb the Manitou Incline. Then, what was that? In Arapahoe County, a kid on a school bus spots something and sets off a search. Next question. Are we all doing recycling wrong? Mary Beth Nealis got our attention with the hashtag HeyNext on Twitter and said, if someone throws non-recyclables in the recycling bin, does it ruin the whole batch? It's a good question. So we asked the city's Public Works Department, and the short answer is no. At the recycling center, sorting machines pull non-recyclable items off the line. In Denver, about 5% of what people put in their bins doesn't actually belong there and gets sorted out. So out of pure curiosity, we also asked if a small amount of leftover food in a recyclable is okay. And the city says the sorting machine can also detect dirty containers. So a small amount of leftover food should probably be okay. When the Manitou Incline reopens in early December, it could become more expensive to park near the base and make that crazy climb, the 2,000 vertical feet in a mile. Manitou Springs City Council is considering doubling the hourly parking fee along Ruxton Avenue, $5 to $10 an hour. And the city is also considering limiting weekend parking on Ruxton to people who live there. Parking fines would increase as well. Again, this is just a proposal. The city is all too happy to point out there is a free shuttle that runs from downtown Manitou out to the incline.
A little snow above the Manitou Incline this week. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. Mount Sopra, so beautiful today. Just kind of reminds us how lucky we are to live here. And you're halfway through your week. There are some clouds out there that could mean more rain showers for some of you tonight. A little thunder, lightning. A lot of you sending in dramatic scenes from the storms around the city last night, wondering if we'll see a repeat performance tonight. And some of you will. You can see the haze in the area out there, but so far all the heavy thunderstorms are out on the eastern plains, producing heavy rain. The steering winds aloft are weak. Storms are moving from the east around low pressure that's poorly organized in Kansas tonight. And so the moisture train is basically south and east of us, and that leads us into a slightly drier day tomorrow. Tonight, still keep that umbrella handy. A chance for showers and thunder early, then clearing. There'll be some areas of fog. You'll wake up to a temperature of about 52. Tomorrow, partly sunny, 84 degrees, isolated storms. The thunderstorm chance increases Friday ahead of a beautiful holiday weekend forecast. Temperatures between 85 and 90 degrees with only isolated activity as we move through Sunday and the Labor Day holiday on Monday.
Kathy, thanks. We return to our in-depth discussion about immigration policy as Donald Trump prepares to make a major address on that subject tonight. With Trump routinely making news with his immigration rhetoric, Hillary Clinton seems to have to rarely discuss or defend her plan to secure the border. So that's where I started our conversation with Clinton supporter Crisanta Duran, the majority leader in the Colorado House. What is her plan for border security for the group of Americans that are deeply concerned about that?
Hillary Clinton has promised to bring forward a plan regarding comprehensive immigration reform in the first 100 days. The people who live in the shadows each and every day are the people who put food on the table and provide needed services in our beautiful state of Colorado and our country.
But that's a plan for immigration reform for the people that are here. What's Hillary Clinton's plan for border security?
Sure. There's no doubt that we need to continue to support border security measures. But what Hillary has said is that we need to take it a step further concerning the families that are already here. The immigrants who live in our country are Americans for all intents and purposes.
You represent a district in which some people live as U.S. citizens legally, and there are some people who are in the country illegally who still live in your district. Philosophically, do you look and say, I represent all the people?
People who are undocumented in Colorado and in Denver, They pay taxes. They pay taxes when they work. They pay taxes in a variety of different ways when they go to the store and they buy a product. And to me, my job as a representative is to make sure that the taxpayers of this state are well represented.
You can see extended versions of our interviews with Duran and Trump supporter Jerry Natividad on the next Facebook page. Denver's best-known police officer is back on the job today after 2 years out of work and in the spotlight. And what was that? The search is on in Arapahoe County. When you sign up to be a sheriff's deputy, you sign up to do it all, including tracking big cats in the suburbs. Arapahoe County deputies were out there today looking into reports of a mountain lion. First, there was a photo of tracks in a creek bed, and then sightings of the mountain lion spotted near Broncos Parkway and South Joplin Way, and then again near Arapahoe and Havana. The sighting was first attributed to a Cherry Creek school bus driver, later clarified it was actually a kid on said bus who claimed to have seen a cheetah. If you've always envisioned yourself as the kind of big burly guy who runs around wielding an axe, you would probably make a really good mascot at the Colorado School of Mines. And they're hiring. They need a new Marvin the Miner to pump up the crowd at games. Without talking, of course, can't talk. And know that the school will also hire you out to appear at businesses, other schools, even weddings. Applications are due Tuesday. So if you envision yourself as a miner, get your resume together. We often tell you about police officers who get into a scrape on the job, involved in a confrontation or a shooting. Today, we have some good news about an officer who almost didn't make it out of a bad situation. Denver police officer John Adsit was told, his family was told that he wouldn't survive after he was run over by a car and dragged in September of 2014. He was hit as he escorted high school students out on the streets for a protest. Well, Officer Adsit returned to work today after more than 20 surgeries and nearly 2 years away. He said that he was a bit nervous about the return, but he loves his job, he told us, his family, and he wanted to thank everyone who has helped him in his recovery.
It's a dream come true. It reminds me of the first day of academy years ago, starting out, and now I'm getting back again. So I feel a little nervous, a little shaky, but I feel good. I really don't think a lot about the incident. I think about where my future goals are and where I want to be a year from now.
The driver who hit Officer Adsit and shouldn't have been driving that day was sentenced to 6 years community corrections. Adsit's going to be on limited duty as he transitions back to the force. His hope someday is to rejoin the bike patrol. Every once in a while, we've been sharing some ink that tells a story. Valerie Gibson sent us a photo of her tattoo right there on her wrist. Love, Dad. That is Valerie's dad's handwriting, lifted from a card that he sent her years ago. He's been gone 6 years now. She carries his words with her every day. You can tell us your permanent story, something that means the world to you, with the hashtag #HeyNext. The most Colorado thing we saw today is next. It's the most Colorado thing we saw today, a unique Jeep in Denver. Of course, there are hard tops, there are soft tops, and there are, quick, find a top. Heavy rains in Denver last night had some Jeep owners scrambling. This was out in the Baker neighborhood. That is a good save right there. That's a good-looking Jeep and a fine save for next time. Appreciate all the great messages that we saw today. A bunch of people were singing Shout right along with me. I appreciate that very much. Kenny has an idea to save the A-line. My wife recommends putting a diesel locomotive in front of the A-line. Those things have gotten around for 100 years. We'll bring that up to RTD. Kenny, nice idea. And then we have the note from, who is it now? Diane. Diane said, wanted to like the show, but when I see you being Trump's lapdog, I've had enough. That's interesting, Diane. That is not usually what we hear around here. We'll mull that over and get back to you next time.